I'm Jack Reiner, the managing partner at the Graydon firm in Cincinnati. 2021 marks the 150th anniversary of Graydon, and while we are enormously proud to be celebrating that milestone, we recognize that the reason we continue to exist is our clients. They're the reason we're here. They're the reason we're able to give back to the community in the many ways that we do. And so to celebrate our sesquicentennial, we've decided not to shine a light on us, but rather shine that light on some of the clients we serve who are truly iconic parts of our community. So we've launched a series of iconic conversations with these clients, and we're delighted to have this opportunity. Today I'm talking with John Banchy, the president and CEO of the Children's Home of Cincinnati. John, welcome. How are you this morning?
I am fantastic. Thanks for having us, and congratulations or happy birthday, happy anniversary on 150 years. That's a lot to be proud of.
Thank you very much. John, why don't you tell us a little bit about the history of the Children's Home and how long you've been a part of the community. I think you're actually a little bit older than Graydon, aren't you?
We are. We're 157 years old this year. Launched in 1864 as an orphanage, and we have continued to adapt and change to meet the needs of our community here in the greater Cincinnati area. So we are no longer an orphanage, but we have three main lines of business. We have mental health services, which is our Best Point brand. We have early childhood services, which is our CoStar brand, and the Heights Center of Excellence, which is autism. And then the Children's Home itself is everything that happens here on our 40-acre campus in Madisonville.
And I think most people know, or a lot of people know where that is. Certainly people on the east side. It's I always think of it as across from the old Oakley Drive-In. I don't think the Oakley Drive-In was there when it was still there when you took it over the reins at the Children's Home. But
it was not.
That's my memory.
And I have
the overall mission. Go ahead, John.
To answer your question, I've been here 6 years, and I would always want to lead with our staff members first. We are very, very proud of the people that make up the Children's Home. The Children's Home is a name, but the mission can be fulfilled with our 450 plus employees. So I think we have the best and the brightest in the city of Cincinnati. The work that we do is very, very tough, but I'm very proud that through the leadership across the campus, across the city, we're in over 180 locations across Cincinnati on a daily basis, and our turnover last year was 14%. So considering you have people that move and transfer and things like that, we're really proud of that. We've reduced our turnover by more than 55% over the last few years. We've also increased the number of clients that we serve. Just 5-6 years ago, when I joined, we were just over 6,000 clients served, and now we're pushing 15,000 last year, and that's with the pandemic. Our years end on June 30th, so we're really proud of our staff members. I couldn't say enough about our team.
That's incredible. And how far is the geographic reach that the Children's Home gets to?
Well, we're in 240 neighborhoods, so that's a pretty big geographical reach with 154 locations across Cincinnati that we have, full-time staff members in.
That is incredible. Could you characterize, do you have a mission statement? Does Children's Home have a mission statement? If you were to sort of put it into a sentence or two or a paragraph, what do you see the mission of the Children's Home?
Well, it's creating lasting results that strengthen families in our community by guiding individuals from infancy to independence through comprehensive education, behavioral, and mental health services. And I really, the key for me when we talk about our mission statement is we don't have the word children. We realized 5 years ago when we developed our strategic plan that, it's a multi-generational approach. We can't work with a child for 6 hours and send them home. And so we've developed programs like counseling for caregivers that help families, come out of poverty together with our work readiness programs, our job readiness programs, or life skills programs. But it's a multi-generational approach. We just can't work with children. So we're open. We have a health center that we've served clients there from 2 months old to 90 years old.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's obviously got to be a holistic approach. You know, my wife's a teacher, and I think she sometimes gets frustrated with the thought that the schools can just fix the the issues that exist in the 6 or 7 hours that they've got the kids, and obviously we all know that's not realistic, and it sounds like the Children's Home has adapted to that reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, John, I know I'm sure you don't want to single out a particular program. That'd be like asking you who your favorite, kid is. But there are a couple, I'd like to have you talk about maybe a little bit more. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Heights Center for Excellence?
Yes, and we do have 31 separate lines of business. They're all important, as you said. We are very proud of the work that's happened over at the Heights Center of Excellence. So it's on Red Bank Road, 4550 Red Bank Road. Again, while that's the physical plant, we also do services in the community based on that demographic. But it's a high school, typically for high school age students. We have life schools, we have transition services, work readiness programs. It's an 80,000 square foot facility that we bought a little over 3 years ago and just finished phase 3, or just wrapping up phase 3 now. But it's a high school like none other. Jack, I would tell you, when you talk about Cincinnati in general, you talk about the Children's Home adapting to the needs. Recently, we had a family move from Los Angeles, California to Cincinnati, Ohio, so their child could attend the Heights Center of Excellence. And so we could talk all day about the program, but I think an example like that really speaks volumes. We've had people move certainly from Florida, Kentucky, Columbus, so they could attend the school. So everything from like I said, a mock apartment to teach life skills, a full gymnasium. Classrooms are over 1,000 square feet each. The hallways are 13 feet wide for kids that might have sensory issues. It's a really a state-of-the-art facility that is, I think, another gem in the Queen City's crown.
Yeah, and John, I'm not sure if we were totally clear. The population that Heights Center really serves and is focused on?
Yes, I'm sorry. It's focused on kids on the spectrum, so kids with autism.
Right. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to visit there several times, and it is a beautiful facility. The physical facility is just beautiful, but I just think, the opportunity that is provided, including I think you've had proms, right? I just think that's such a service that you provide, and I would agree with you that it is a jewel in the crown. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Levine Family Health Center?
Yes, the Levine Family Health Center I'm really proud of this. We started in September of 2016, and we did that in partnership, which I think is really important for the Children's Home in general, and really all of Cincinnati, to continue to partner together to make our community stronger. So it's open to the public. We originally built it for all the kids that are on our campus that don't have access to care. It is an FQHC, that's a federally qualified health center. So we partnered with the health department in the city of Cincinnati, and they manage it. So we have nurse practitioners there. On the other side of that particular building was where we, all of our psychiatrists serve clients. So sometimes if you've got a family that comes in to see one of our psychiatrists, one of our clinicians, they might have 3 or 4 other family members, children in tow, and they don't have access to health care. So it just made sense. So one child can see our psychiatrist while the rest of the family gets a well child check or whatever they might need over at the Levine Health Center.
That's fantastic. Again, and I think that speaks to the mission of really addressing the more holistic, family concerns. I think we'd be a little bit remiss not to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the pandemic. And what unique challenges has COVID presented for your organization, and how have you responded?
Well, I think, just my personal view, every challenge is also an opportunity, just the way that I grew up personally. I'm so proud of our team, as I mentioned before. None of this happens without all of our great staff members and partners like Graydon. So when the pandemic first started, we marshaled all of our resources. Everybody leaned in. We have never closed, so we've been here. The leadership team has been here everybody that it's safe to be here has been here every single day, including a day like today that we have 10 inches of snow outside. So, again, like I said earlier, we adapt to the needs of Cincinnati and our residents, and especially that vulnerable population. So we started a pandemic preschool. We got a license from the state of Ohio. We opened that up the first day that we could and ran that the entire time of the pandemic for first responders. People think about police officers and doctors, but there's also people that, are bus drivers and sanitation workers. And so we opened that up for our first responders. And then when we had our Camp by Camp that's been going on for a decade plus here at the Children's Home, there were a lot of questions. Should we really do camp? And the easy question or the easy answer is that let's not do Camp by Camp. But we realized these kids have no place to go. So we feed them breakfast and feed them lunch. So it was a challenge. We were very aggressive in our protocols to make sure that everybody stayed safe and social distancing and fogging the buildings each night. And we've hired somebody to constantly go around the facilities to make sure that everything's sanitized. So we did our Camp by Camp. We're real proud. And towards the middle of the summer, we realized that CPS was not going to open up and other districts were not going to open up. And we were bombarded by families going, what am I going to do with my child? If I don't go to work, I'm going to lose my job, but I can't leave my son or my daughter or my children at home. So once again, we turned on a dime and we took extra facilities that we had, classrooms, and turned them into school-age services. So we had staff members that typically work in after-school programs. Those programs were closed down due to the pandemic. So we wanted to keep everybody employed, so we asked them if they would be willing to come in and work on the pandemic child care. And it worked out fantastic. There were some glitches in the beginning with, technology, but, a lot of these children don't have access to computers or someone to help them during the day. So we have a very structured program, so we feed them breakfast and lunch, and we also have playtime, but we want to make sure that we are logging on to their homework, and our after-school providers really stepped up to the plate, and others, and are helping them with their homework every single day. So as I walk the buildings every day, I tell the kids in those classrooms, they're going to be the smartest kids in their grade when they get back to school full-time.
No doubt. No, I think anybody with young kids understands, or in my case, young grandkids, understands the need and the importance of quality daycare, especially like you say, for people who can't work from home. So it's such a great service. Has the Children's Home been able to offer services through like telehealth services as part of the pandemic as well?
Yes, and that's one of the opportunities that I mentioned earlier. Every challenge comes with an opportunity. And at the end of February, we had offered exactly this many telepsychiatry, telemedicine, exactly 0. And we turned on a dime. We were, doing all the research to how we could do this. And there's a lot of ins and outs in terms of, do you have to get the blood pressure of the child before you start an appointment? And those rules were relaxed a little bit to help everybody provide the service. Through December, so it doesn't count, January and February, we've had just a few under 60,000 visits, which is absolutely amazing. So I think in March we had 4,000 visits, and then it just exploded into April through the end of the year. So I think telehealth is here to stay. It certainly works better for some, and it doesn't work for some. But I think just overall in general, it's a great tool in our arsenal to help serve the population that we serve.
That's fantastic. And to go from 0 to, did you say 50,000?
Over 50, almost 60. I think it's 59,000.
Almost 60,000. Incredible. That's incredible. And I suppose that, have you seen an increase in the need for mental health services as a result of the pandemic?
Absolutely. And we're prepared. We've got all of our staff, here on salary, ready to jump into action when that time is there. We're all working now, but we can start to see already the increased need, whether that's more suicidal ideation or, just across the spectrum, there are a lot of challenges that these young folks are facing, and quite frankly, challenges that we're facing. So we're prepared. We stand ready to serve when we can get back into the schools that we serve. But certainly, we're not slowing down now.
Yeah, it's a sad reality. What does the future look like for the children's home?
I think the future looks great. As I started this discussion, it's all about our people. And right now we have a great, great team. We have great bench strengths. So in order for us, those are our human capital. That's who we are. We can improve our outcomes by making sure that we have the right people in the right place at the right time. We plan on continuing to partner with other organizations in Cincinnati so we can grow our reach and serve more folks. We know that we could never serve all of the demand at this point. We recently announced a partnership with CATS, that's Cincinnati Arts and Technology Studios, and so they are now part of the children's home, and it's kind of in a COVID coma. Somebody named it that for while the schools are closed, because that is a program that will take place with kids that are in the CPS and other school districts. But we're going to continue to grow and serve more, and just like when we have talked about adding the health center or adding the school for autism services, adding the different programs in the early childhood, we're going to continue to add and develop programs that meet the needs of all Cincinnatians.
Well, that's fantastic. So for those listening to the conversation who might want to support the Children's Home mission, what are some ways they can do that?
Very interested in volunteers. We have really created a dynamic opportunity for volunteers, in-person volunteers. While those were pared down a little bit, did not end during the pandemic, but we can do anything from reading to kids. We have what we call lobby nannies who help families while they're in a waiting room for to see one of our doctors, read to some of the kids in preschool, do things physically here on the campus like paint and garden and things like that. Certainly financial support is always welcomed. We really count on the community to support us. A lot of the programs that we have are not funded. So, some of the meals we serve the kids are not funded by any mechanism. And so financial support is, certainly welcome. Our website is tchcincy, tchcincy.org. There's opportunities to donate on our website. There's also opportunities to look at all the volunteer opportunities and to schedule a time to come in and meet the team and start your volunteer career with the Children's Home.
That's fantastic. I will say that the annual fundraiser is tied in with the fireworks, which unfortunately no fireworks this past year. I know you kind of did a more of a virtual event, but I will say that is one of the most fun fundraisers that I go to every year. It is just a blast. It's just a blast.
So you're saying the Children's Home put the fun in fundraiser?
You put the fun in fundraiser. That's right, John. I like that for sure. Hey, let's talk a little bit about you, John. Tell us about the journey that ultimately led you to your role at the Children's Home.
That's it. It's been a long journey, but I'm so proud to be here now. And I have one promise to everyone, that I will leave this place stronger when I leave, to make sure that we can continue the mission that's already been in existence for 157 years. I grew up in a single household. I lost my father when I was 5 years old. My mother had 5 children. We lived on food stamps and really represent the kids that we serve today. Didn't have the opportunities. In the summers, they shipped me off to a family farm in North Dakota, about 8 hours northwest of Fargo. So, no trash removal, no TV, things like that. But it taught me a work ethic. And then I lived in the inner city in Indianapolis for my school years. So, I think, a lot of people might complain about that. I'm very proud of my childhood. And while we didn't have things, we were a good family. I was taught work ethic, from a very, very young age. My mom always said the harder you work, the luckier you'll get. And she also said, you know, the grass always looks greener on the other side of the fence, but they probably just have a bigger water bill. So there's just those little things. And, you know, so that's brought me to, I moved to Cincinnati about 30 years ago for a separate career. I was working for a Fortune 500 company, and, you know, kind of cut my my business career with a for-profit company. And then I happenstance fell into a nonprofit organization where I managed 50 offices across the country. And one day I woke up and realized that, you know, I had a few million Delta miles. I was missing, you know, everything that is Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is such a wonderful home for us. So, and then I joined the Children's Home just about 6 years ago.
Yeah, well, we are certainly glad you did, John, and the work ethic is the work ethic and the integrity that you developed through your life experience is on display every day, and certainly every time you and I get the opportunity to talk to each other. And you're not from Cincinnati originally. If you were recruiting your next awesome staff member who was outside of Cincinnati, what might you tell them about Cincinnati to convince them to locate here?
You know, I think Cincinnati is the big town with a small town feel. I think that neighbors are still helping neighbors here in Cincinnati. You know, certainly with the FC, the Bengals, the Reds, you know, the college rivalries in town, Finley Market, the Underground Freedom Center, the Fiona. I mean, there's just so much to do in Cincinnati. The arts, the culture. I would put Cincinnati personally up against any town in the country.
That's great to hear. So if you had to, so you got somebody from out of town, what food would you take them to, or what event would you say they ought to come to? One, and it's in the fundraiser. The Children's Home fundraiser is off the table. That wouldn't be fair. That wouldn't be fair.
That would be the number one event with the Western and Southern fireworks. You know, it depends. A casual lunch, you know, you have to love Skyline chili or Gold Star Cincinnati chili. You know, nobody could complain about a Jeff Ruby steak coming from North Dakota, a big beef family. And you have to love, you know, Graydon. So I guess it's what everybody says, but that is Cincinnati. It's Cincinnati.
Well, I'm a native Cincinnatian, and I would not disagree with any of those picks. Those are all very solid, John. Well, John, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for giving Graydon the opportunity to serve you. Thanks for all you do for the community and all the Children's Home has done for 157 years. As I said, we are calling this series Iconic Conversations, and I do believe that the Children's Home is truly a Cincinnati icon, and it is our just great honor to serve you. And I just appreciate the opportunity for you to tell our listeners, and we'll push this out on social media, and we'll make this available to you to push out on your social media, but just to kind of tell our listeners and the folks that follow us on social media just what a great and iconic institution the Children's Home is. So we very much appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, we appreciate our partnership with the Graydon firm, and congratulations on 150 years, and looking forward to cheers to the next 150 years.
Okay. Thanks, John, so much.
Thank you.